Yeah, thanks.
Blog Talk Radio.
Aloha, everybody. This is Jennifer O'Neill, and we have a special guest today, Geralyn St. Joseph, a fellow psychic and intuitive friend of mine. Hi, Geralyn.
Hello, Jen. How are you this fine day?
Good. My friend Geralyn used to be in Hawaii, and she is now East Coast. So I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, because if you're on the East Coast or anywhere on the mainland, that area, and you want an in-person reading, or you want to call someone that's, closer to you, she would be the person I would recommend in that area, because she is no longer in Hawaii. So do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure, rub it in that I'm no longer in Hawaii. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It's cloudy
I will
here.
be returning to Hawaii, but I'm on the East Coast for an extended period of time. I'm in the Philadelphia area. I service New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, and go up and down the East Coast pretty much. We did travel cross country this fall, where I did readings all the way across. So whoever is more convenient to you time-wise. Most of my clients in Hawaii I now send to Jen, because we have a very similar style of reading. And I have several websites, including voiceofspirit.com and psychicinhawaii.com and spiritualparents.com, where you can find out information on me. So now we can start with our topic.
You also have a blog talk show, which is everybody
Yes.
who is listening right now. We are doing part 1 on my show today, on getting your money's worth out of a psychic reading, and part 2 will be continued on Geralyn's blog talk page, which if you have a hard time finding, you can just go to my Facebook page, my Jennifer O'Neill Facebook page, and I'm going to have her link on there so you can click on it in the archives. Or your blog talk show is, what's the name of it so they can search
Well,
it?
my ID on Blog Talk is Geralyn Intuitive, and that's Geralyn, Geralyn Intuitive with a space. If you want to find it, it should come right up in the search.
Right. And we're going to continue that at 9:30 Hawaii time. So we're going to do a half hour on this show, and we're going to go straight over to that show, and then we'll give you the call-in number for that show if you want to listen, or call in to continue with more questions on the topic that we're going to be talking about. So me and Geralyn were talking this weekend because we both do readings. We're both very busy with that, and we talk a lot about how clients, one of the topics that we got on was how that clients can get their money's worth out of a psychic reading, because we have noticed that sometimes that they don't quite understand how we read, or how much free will that they have in a psychic reading. So we had some topics that we wanted to cover. So when you go to a psychic, or you've had your first psychic reading, or if you go to Geralyn or myself or anybody else, and my website is thejenniferopsychic.com, if you don't know that already, then you can get your money's worth, because as psychics, we want you to get the most that you can out of a psychic reading. We want you to get the best guidance that you can possibly get out of it. We don't want you leaving feeling frustrated or like you didn't have any direction. We want you to leave feeling empowered, and that you have a good idea of how to, do some great things in your future and get you where you want to be. So,
and I think a key word there, Jennifer, as you're speaking, the key to it is guidance. We're there to give you guidance. We are not there to tell you what to do. We're not there to make your decisions for you. We're not there to tell you, absolutely, this is what's going to happen in your life. We're there to help give you guidance so you can make your own decisions.
Right, and I think me and you both read in the same way, that we don't want our clients to just depend on us to make decisions for them. We tell our clients, if you continue on this path, this is what we see happening. And if it's not in the direction that you want to be, we'll guide you in where a better outcome could be, or where to best get you to where you want to be, if we're seeing that you're kind of leading down another direction. And we also want to teach you to use your own intuitive ability. We don't want you just calling us Yeah, all the time. But we are here for guidance, and we can be very, very helpful in that sense. If you're trying to get from, point A to point B, we can definitely clear up some great areas for you and help you. Yes, you're heading the direction, or no, you're not. But Geralyn, you had some points that you wanted to go ahead and start out with, so why don't you go ahead?
Well, just deriving from what you were saying also, one of the keys is to know that you have choices to make. There's very, very few things in your life that you don't have any say on. And the things that you don't have any say on is how somebody's going to respond to you or someone else's choices. But you definitely, your own reactions or the way you act in response to someone else, that's your choice. What you do with a situation, right, that's your choice. One of the things I find with other readers that people are surprised when they come to us is that we tell people that they have a choice, whereas other readers say, right, this is what's going to happen, and this is when it's going to happen.
Well, don't you think where I feel like that really lies heavily on is when people call about relationships?
Oh, yeah, very
heavily. Yes, one of the things that's really important for people to understand is when you call us and ask us about love, relationships, and all that sort of thing, that is one of my top calls. I don't know about you. But I assume it is career, love, money, So anyways, your behavior and the choices that you make, you're dealing with two people at that point who have free will. So when you call us, the thing is we can give you some guidance on if you continue on the relationship or continue searching for love in the way that you're searching, that you're going to have certain outcomes. But if you don't like the way that's going and you switch it all up and you change your behavior or you change how you're dating or you change your behavior in your current relationship, when you come back to us in 3 or 4 months or 6 months, your reading may be completely different because you've taken control of how that you want your relationship to go, and that's altered their behavior because, you both have free will. So you definitely can change your relationships. I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. People get really frustrated when they're like, well, I don't want my relationship to go this way, or I don't like that I'm not finding anybody that's a good match. And I'm like, great, you know what the wonderful thing is? You have free will. These are the problems that I see that, that's causing you this issue, causing you to draw in certain people that you don't want or you're not a good match to. And
right.
You
on
can
that
change
same
that.
note is a lot of times when people are ending a relationship, when they're leaving a relationship, there's work that needs to be done. Or when they're looking for a new relationship, there's work that needs to be done. And often we have insight as to what that work is. One of the things that kind of makes me laugh sometimes is when people come to me and they're like, well, when am I going to be in a new relationship? And I'm like, well, you need to do this first before the right person can come in because you need to be whole. And I tell them what they need to do, and then they're still like, yeah, but when's this person going to show up? Well, when are you going to do the work? Once the work's done, then they're going to show up. So
and that all affects
it's up to you to do what needs to be done. Yeah.
Right. And that all affects timing because if we see a relationship coming, it's usually coming. But if you're just, getting more frustrated, more upset, that usually tends to push the relationship further into the future. If
right.
you're doing work like
desperation is not a good scent to wear.
What?
Good. I said, desperation is not a good perfume to attract.
Yeah, desperation. It affects energetically what you're drawing to you, and it affects people. People are really affected by energy. So men can read that. Women can read that. If you're really desperately wanting to get in a relationship, they can read that, and I'll tell you, it's like mosquito repellent. They're just, whoa, stay away from that. That terrifies people to their very soul. They're looking for fun to start with or to find common ground with you, and you're looking to latch on.
Let me clarify that for a second. That repels the kind of person that you would want to be in a relationship with. It attracts the kind of person who's also desperate, also hasn't done the work, and also is feeling undeserving. So basically you draw to you someone who has the same wounds as opposed to someone who's healthy. In order to draw someone who's healthy, you need to be healthy.
Yes, then you're in a repetitive cycle. One of the other things that I want to address before, because this relationship thing can go on forever, although on that note, I want everybody, the people to realize out there that relationships tend to be ever-changing if you alter your behavior. So when we read you, it's going on one path at that time, but if you start altering your behavior, which I think is a great thing, it's going to alter how your relationships come into your life and how that they're, how you deal with them and who you draw into your life. You have so much control and free will over that. It's really awesome. But one of the other things is that we were talking about is when people come in and they're just very vague about, they just say, okay, well, tell me anything that you want to see or that you see. And we feel, and I know this is we can do that. Any good psychic can do that. But I feel that wastes your time and your money because it takes a little bit of time for us to connect into your energy, and we will start peeling back the layers. But, if you have an idea of where you want to go right away, you can connect into the energy quicker, and you can start giving detailed answers. So if you want to test a psychic and just be like, tell me what you want to see, or you're just doing it for fun, then that's no big deal. But if you really want some specifics, I think it's really important to get to the specific. You don't have to give complete background or anything.
Now, I have a qualifier for that. When I do readings, basically what I do is I start off with a general reading, so Spirit tells you what you need to know. And then you ask specific questions about what you want to know. And sometimes they're not the same thing. But basically what happens is that if you walk into a reading and you have questions written down, then you're more likely to have all your questions answered because then we can cut to the chase and just get to where you need to be.
True.
So I always highly recommend when people say, well, what should I do to prepare for the reading? There's two things you need to do. One is write down what you're curious about. And two is right before we start the reading, take several really deep breaths, calm yourself, relax, and be open to me. It'll make the reading go a lot more smoothly. It's easier to tap in than if you're nervous or rushed or that kind of thing. It just it frees up a lot of time and energy for both of us to make things more clear.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. I still get clients that, for the first time they're completely terrified. And we can still read them. You can still read them. I can still read them. But it's definitely easier when you're more relaxed. And
it makes it flow quickly. Go ahead.
Quickly, yes. Mm-hmm. And so it's if you go in and you have an idea of where you want to go, if you have like questions on career and stuff, bring those up. And just, because I personally like the client to get, the questions answered that they called for or whatever. I don't want them just saying, what do you want to see, just to, see what's out there. Usually I'll hit on what they want to know right away off the bat anyways. But, it's good for you to have, it helps you connect in quicker. It helps get better detailed answers for you. Mm-hmm. But you had brought up a point that I talk about all the time, switching to the next one, which is I like to tell people, I think that most people should be referred to psychics, actually, because I think that we've been in the industry for a very, very long time, and there's many people who I don't think do this on purpose. They're just not qualified readers who I would send anybody I know to. They do their best, but they're just not to the level that I think's where I'd want to send friends or family. And one of the flags, if you're just going to see a reader, because not everybody knows someone that can refer, is if they say they're 100% accurate. That's that's a pet peeve, I think, of any good psychic. Run the other direction.
There's two issues with that. One is that things are not written in stone. All we're telling you is how things will be if you continue on the current path. Once you make a decision to go in a different direction, it changes things. The second thing is that there are scientific studies that have been done testing people, and the best of psychics will have about between a 75 and an 85% accuracy rate.
Correct.
A normal person usually averages 30 to 35%, so that's the difference.
Right.
It's impossible to be 100% because nothing is written in stone. Your life is not written in stone.
Right.
It's malleable.
Well, hence the free will, coming into that. So that's really excellent. But, yeah, no one's 100% accurate. You're not on your own intuition. You're not a psychic's not 100% accurate. It's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would ever say that they were. And if they are, and then, of course, where you have to purchase candles or, the basics.
Especially when they're $100 candles. The 7-day candles they use for different things are like $1.50. They're not $100. So, be very aware of that. People who throw the word evil around, be very careful of that. That's usually a sure sign that you're about to be played.
Or curses. Evil curses, and I've known people that or heard of people that will even say that they can cast spells on relationships, fix their partners by doing some type of spell work on them. It costs them more money to have, their partner, fixed.
Let's think about that for a minute, Jennifer. I mean, would you want to be with somebody if you had to cast a spell on them to love you?
Absolutely not, but I'm very different. No way. That is, that's just, that's terrible. So, we have a few callers. Let's see if they have any questions regarding psychic readings. I assume some of them will be career, love, and money, but let's see. We have area code 310. Aloha.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I am calling in for a career. I applied for 2 different jobs. One I have a testing for at the end of February, but the other one I may have an interview at either at the end of this week or next week. And I'm just wondering if you see me getting offered both or one or which one.
You have testing at the end of February, and then something with this. What was this week?
Okay, for an oil refinery, is the testing.
No, I mean you have something you're going to this week, and then testing at the end of February. I feel like you get offered one of the jobs, and it seems like the one that you go to sooner.
Okay.
The whatever. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yep, we had a career. That's very common right now. So, let's get back to that a little bit more, the things about the psychic reading. So, not everybody can also be referred to a psychic. So, do you have any suggestions for people that maybe can't be referred, like how that they can test a psychic or how they feel like they can find a reputable psychic?
Well, don't you think, we have websites for a reason, and both of us write articles and do things so that people can get to know us a little bit better. I think Blog Talk allows people to see a little bit of our personalities and the way we do things. And then, of course, going on our websites and reading about us is always a good way also. I want to make another point about, you were saying something about intuition, using your own intuition. And I think anyone who is who has a lot of integrity will tell you to really follow your own intuition. I might be giving you a reading and picking up on something, and your gut might be telling you, no, it's not quite right. It's not quite where you need to be. Follow your gut, because your guidance needs to be paramount.
That's a very good point. I tell my clients that all the time. I tell new clients that when they first come to me, your own intuition trumps everything. It trumps my reading. It trumps anything anybody would say, because you've lived with this intuition for your whole entire life. You've developed it, and it is put there specifically to guide you individually better than anybody else on the planet. So that's a very good point. That should trump anything. It should trump any psychic's reading, anything of that nature. The problem where people get confused, of course, is they start the intuition in the mind. So just to clarify that, your intuition's felt in the body. It's not felt in the, you don't get intuition in the mind. That's a whole nother show.
Yes.
But one
well,
of the things.
Describe it, Jen? Usually, like, how do you tell people how to tell the difference? I have a specific way that I do it, but I'm curious how you do it.
One of the things that I tell them is I tell them to think of something and close their eyes. And when they close their eyes and think of a scenario or think of something that they're curious about, like moving forward into a job or moving forward into a relationship or switching jobs, I tell them to close their eyes and just only concentrate on how they feel in the heart center. And when they'll have a noticeable feeling. It'll feel good. It'll feel weird. It'll feel bad. And that's their guidance tool. I notice when they close their eyes and concentrate on a direction, it tends to take their head out of it somehow. They're not so trying to think through the problem, because where their head goes right to their heart center, trying to figure out what that feeling is. And that's how I draw them into the body. How about you?
Basically, I tell them you have logical thought, you have emotion, and you have intuition. Your logical thought is in your head. It's usually thoughts. There's not a lot going on physically with just basic logical thought. If it's an emotional thing that's happening, it's upper chest and throat. You feel it gets tight, it'll get loose. That's where your emotional center is. And your intuition is in your solar plexus, which is right at the bottom of your sternum, right at the bottom of the top of your belly, the bottom of your ribs. And that will either contract, or it'll open up, it'll relax, or it'll just be whatever it is. But if it's something you're really supposed to go towards, it relaxes and opens up, and there's a feeling of expansion with it. If it's something you're supposed to be afraid of or run away from, then there's a feeling of contraction and pulling back in that area.
Okay.
So
I noticed I tend to have it in the whole torso area, so I think that everybody's a little bit different in that way. So, I have it more upper torso, but I'm sure lower torso, upper torso, everyone's going to have it different. Before I forget, because we're actually 8 minutes left on my show before we go to yours, is one of the things where you can test psychics. And the other thing is psychics, I feel, they're like doctors. They're like physicians in a sense that you'll be comfortable with some and not comfortable with others.
Yes.
So that's really important. It doesn't matter how accurate that a psychic is for you. If you're uncomfortable talking to them and feel weird around them or feel like there's some type of, negative connection or something, that doesn't do you nor the psychic any good. You shouldn't see those people. I mean, find someone you're comfortable with. Find someone that you're relaxed with, because that really makes a huge difference. But mini readings are a great way to test if you're comfortable with a psychic without spending a ton of money. I think that, if you're unsure, if it's somebody new, you may want to see if they can go a short time first and possibly add additional time. Like if I've done things where I'll do people for 15 minutes, and then if they want to go a half hour, I can reserve a half hour for them. If they're comfortable, we'll keep going. So, you can ask psychics about that, or you can go to mini readings and have one done where the reason I like that is because I hate it when people spend a ton of their money and feel like it was a bad match for them or that they weren't accurate for them, because some psychics, no matter how good that you are, some psychics don't match up with everybody, just sometimes there's a mismatch, and in the reading just, you're not getting from it what you
So tell me, Jennifer, will you be giving mini readings anytime soon?
Oh.
Are you going to be at any venues, or are you doing anything online? What are you doing?
My special, actually, I have a few mini readings that I'm still filling for Tuesday coming up. I have a few mini readings. If you can go on my Facebook page, my Jennifer O'Neill, or you can email me at jennifer@jenniferopsychic.com, or message me, however you want to do that. And I'm doing mini readings, 10 minutes for $25. And I like to do that just to refresh my clients, questions. I love to do it for new clients, because then they can get a feel for you and see if they want a full reading. And it's an inexpensive way for people that don't have money for a full reading. So next month, though, I will be running a special. I'm glad that you brought that up, and I haven't advertised it yet, but next month is going to be a name your own price. And how that's going to work before everybody starts going, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a whole reading for $20. It doesn't quite work that way. What it is every 10 minutes is going to be $25. So basically, you pick what you can afford. You know, say you can only afford 20-minute reading, it costs $50. A full hour reading will be $150. But actually, that is a really cut rate from my regular rate. So
it's $100 off, right?
Yeah, it's $100 off of my regular rates for an hour reading. So you can just adjust to whatever price you're comfortable with and have that type of reading. And that being said, I want to make sure that people understand, too, that a mini reading is not a full reading. It's meant to just answer a couple questions or for you to get a feel for someone and how they read. But let's take this last caller just to make sure, see if we have any questions on psychic readings really quickly before we go to your show. Aloha. Oh.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello. This
yep.
is James. This is James. You gave me a reading, I think, on the 3rd of January.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You told me to call in because I had another question. About I was wondering if my money situation was going to get better like this year.
Geralyn, you want to take this one?
No, actually, I'm signing off because I got 3 minutes till mine starts. So I will meet you on my show.
I could call in the other.
Bye-bye.
I could call in the other show if you want me to.
No, I don't take readings on my show. We just do whatever.
She doesn't do readings on her show. Okay, we'll meet you over on your show.
Right,
I feel like. All right. Bye. I feel that the financial situation's not going to get a lot better anytime, soon, maybe towards the end of the year. But you have some changes to make to get that a little bit better. But I am at the end of the show, James, and I do need to switch over into the other show. So thanks for calling in. And all right. And so anyhow, we are going to go over to Geralyn St. Joseph's page on Blog Talk. If you haven't figured out how to get to her page, it's Geralyn. Intuitive Geralyn. She will be on my Facebook page. So if you're a Facebook friend of mine, go ahead and click on my Facebook page. My link will be up there, and then later today, her link will be up there, and you can just continue on over to her show. So she also has a website. She's on the East Coast. So any clients in the East Coast area that would like to have a reading, she's a really, really great reader, so you definitely should call her. She's doing in-person readings. She does them by phone as well. So she's on East Coast time. She's one of the only people one of the only other people that I refer to. So definitely check out her stuff. She has another Blog Talk show that has other information on it besides just this topic that we're doing here today. So that being said, we're going to do Getting Your Money's Worth Out of a Psychic Reading Part 2. And please join us over on Geralyn's show, and we'll be taking calls on anything regarding getting your money's worth out of a psychic reading. All right, aloha.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play. Like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet.
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.